Part 3. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 21. Do you think these more than 1 million fans are real or fake? At this time, in an apartment in a high-end community in Shanghai, Zhao Jing asked Luoyang in the study. When he got off work today, Zhao Jing took Luoyang to his house for a gathering. Of course, the main purpose was to discuss the wonderful pen. Unexpectedly, this kind of thing happened in the evening. Rationally speaking, it should be fake. Luoyang thought deeply for a while, with deep eyes, but after a rigorous analysis, you know that it cannot be fake. It seems that we all want to go together. Zhao Jing clicked the mouse, turned the web page to the Suxian series page, pointed to the data and said, there are more than 20 million clicks, and the recommendation votes exceed 10 million. This kind of data has surpassed most of Tencent Animation's comics. This is the reason why they have only been on the shelves for one day. Moreover, the number of subscriptions in the backend of the website has also come out. It is almost 1-to-1 with the collection. In other words, in just one day, this wonderful pen has become God. No comic book has risen so fast in the past, and Miaobi's fans are still very active. There are almost countless posts in the book review area every day. Coupled with the hopes of readers, Miaobi sent a message saying that it has launched Weibo, and it has greatly some people will rush over. Because this is the second day after the publication of Suxian series. Luoyang admired, everyone's novelty is very high, and due to the phenomenon it triggered, the hot topics continue. At this time, Miaobi opened Weibo, and its readers converted to follow. The rate is extremely high, so the attention of more than 1 million is definitely real. It seems that Lin Suekin and the others are going to be in trouble. Zhao Jing smiled faintly, without any sympathy. Although the other party was a cartoonist contracted by Tencent Animation, after their warning, he still promoted new cartoonists on Weibo. Rhythm, he always looked down on this kind of person. That's right. Luoyang obviously didn't want to discuss such things, so he changed his words, but the popularity of Miaobi may stop here. That's why I asked you to come. Zhao Jing sighed, due to the high quality of Miaobi's Suxian series and the recommendation, readers in the district have basically collected everything they should collect, and now they have it has reached saturation, and it's almost impossible to go any further. So I thought before that I wanted to find a storyteller for Miaobi to enter the orthodox comics industry. The country has just begun to promote ACK, but the effect is not very good. Because of the problem of the style of painting, people across the country are not very good at animation. Everyone feels that watching animation or comics is not as good as reading novels, as you can imagine. Like comics, when they see this kind of muscle style, first of all, female readers are turned away, and then readers who don't like muscle style are turned away again. Then, people who don't like to read martial arts are excluded again. After several exclusions, how many of the younger generation now like to read comics? There are 2.3 billion people, but the number of people who like reading comics will not exceed 50 million. And among these 50 million people, there are still many people who only read comics when they are extremely bored, and will not read them at all the rest of the time. This has caused the ACK industry to be extremely sluggish, and the culprit of all this is the style of painting. Now that another style of painting has finally emerged, Zhao Jing naturally wants to support it. However, the last online conversation between Li Yuan and Suxiener made him realize that maybe this wonderful painting can't actually tell a story at all. Then, Zhao Jing could only make this decision. A good idea, but there's a key. What's the key? Would Miaobi agree? Luoyang spread his hands helplessly. After getting to know each other in the past 2 days, I found that Miaobi doesn't seem to be very keen on comics. The editor didn't reply to messages when I contacted him. He turned on the Do Not Disturb mode on his mobile phone. After leaving a message in the morning, the other party has not responded to the message. Now he would rather argue on Weibo than reply to our message. If he hadn't submitted the article to Tencent Animation, I would have doubted whether he had a grudge against us. Zhao Jing choked for a moment. While the two were discussing, Luoyang's cell phone rang. After picking it up, he understood the situation and couldn't help but be stunned. What's wrong? Lin Swecken and others have closed Weibo comments. What? Zhao Jing was shocked and looked at the time in the lower right corner. It was only 9:10 now. According to what Miyobi Weibo said, he would set the pace at 9 o'clock, and he won in 10 minutes. What is this? Ghost. Are today's fans that scary? Luoyang looked strange and slowly said, this is what happened. When she just finished posting on Weibo, Susiener kept refreshing the comments and found that the number had grown rapidly. Of course, it was mainly the attitude of the fans that made her very satisfied. Is Mr. Miyobi really going to color it? So excited. 10,000 likes. Don't worry, I will definitely help you kill them for the color comic version of Susien series. The natal magic keyboard is ready, just wait until 9 o'clock. Although I really want to read the comic version, when will the second episode be released? I'm so anxious. I prefer the girl next door with long hair to the short-haired female delivery girl. By the way, I have to thank Chani for protecting the flowers. If it weren't for that guy's rhythm, I wouldn't have known that the masterpiece Susien series had appeared in the book world. There were many comments, and most of them expressed their inner excitement. Of course, in addition, fans who learned about the situation were also very angry and defended teacher Miyobi. It was only now that Susiener calmed down with a little uneasiness. It was obvious that everything happened according to her thoughts. I'm afraid those people in Chunihua don't know how sticky their fans are, right? But Susiener said that all this is normal. When a country's comics industry has been dominated by muscular style for decades from the beginning of comics to modern society, what will happen to the readers of this country? Putting aside other things, there is only one point, that is, they are very, very, very eager to have a different style of painting that can make them shine. At this time, the Susien series appeared, and it was also a book, which made these otakus love it even more. Lin Swecken and others obviously don't know that when readers who are used to the muscular style suddenly see a different style of painting, and it is still a book, the instant heartbeat and the shock in their hearts are so incomparable. This is simply a clear stream in the comics industry, and the book industry itself has extremely high requirements for the style of painting, but it has been muscular for many years, which naturally makes people less willing to read it. As a result, now there is a comic that can finally be called a book. How can they not be happy? This is why the Susien series directly surpassed the Saint by several streets just by rewards. Readers are rewarding for their beliefs. They don't like this style of painting to be buried. They don't want the Susien series to die because of poor performance, and they don't want the author to stop drawing comics because he can't make money. Now, what should I do when the cartoonist of my favorite book is bullied? Naturally, all factors that can disturb Miyobi teacher's drawing of the book disappear. What's more, Susiener also promised that as long as she wins this battle, she will color the Susien series. When the time reached 9 o'clock, Susiener directly sent a Weibo. Pippi Shrimp, let's go. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 22. Pippi Shrimp number 1 is in place, teacher Miyobi, watch out. I'll beat the shit out of that Chunihua. Pippi Shrimp number 98 is in place, teacher Miyobi, please rest assured, Chunihua and other rhythm masters Weibo will not survive tonight. As a fan of the novel and comic The Saint, and the group leader of a fan group, I represent the 2,000 fans in the group to support teacher Miyobi and criticize him. Chunihua is a mentally retarded person who is leading the rhythm. If it weren't for the Susien series running to the top of the sales list, I wouldn't have known that such a practical book appeared in the book world. In ancient times, the emperors and generals would first tell what rewards they would get on the battlefield, which would make the soldiers more motivated. So Teacher Miyobi, when will the second episode of the Suxian series be released? At 9 o'clock, Susienner directly posted on Weibo, and then tagged the people she was going to fight, so that her fans could be directly transferred to them. The fans were already prepared, and now was the time to have fun online at night, so most people responded to the call. Of course, it was mainly for the color comic version of Susien series. Some people have already analyzed that as long as Teacher Miyobi's coloring skills are good, the color comic version of Susien series will definitely make people unable to get out of bed the next day. In order to experience the feeling of being unable to get out of bed, they must burst out with amazing fighting power to let Teacher Miyobi see that there are countless people supporting him. The battle was triggered instantly, and at this time Lin Jingshu knocked on the door and came in. "Student Su, the teacher asked me to urge you to do the test paper." Lin Jingshu came in yawning with 2 test papers in her hand. She usually went to bed at 10 o'clock in the evening and started to feel sleepy at 9 o'clock. "Let's talk about the test paper tomorrow. I'm doing something big. Do you want to come and watch?" Susiener said, then turned her head and looked at Lin Jingshu and almost sprayed blood. "Jingshu, why are you dressed like this?" At this time, Lin Jingshu was wearing pink pajamas, with her chest open, revealing a deep cleavage, and a closer look, it seems that she didn't wear underwear. The lower body is white underwear, slippers on the feet, and the snow-white legs are presented in front of her. The clothes are simple, but compared with the previous Lin Jingshu, Susiener feels a strong contrast. Where is the well-behaved and quiet Lin Jingshu? What's wrong? Lin Jingshu looked at Susiener in confusion, then lowered her head to look at her clothes, and became more confused. Is there anything wrong with me wearing this? Then she seemed to think of something and said disdainfully, "Student Su, you ran naked in front of me last time. When we first met, you came out in pajamas to get takeout, and now you are sitting in front of the computer in panties, aren't you? And last time for that illustration, she was seen naked by the other party, and they were all girls, so what was there to be surprised about?" Susiener heard this and thought about it. It seems that she is indeed making a fuss. When she was in college in her previous life, people in the dormitory also wore shorts everywhere, and girls are also people, so it is natural to be like this in front of the same sex. After thinking about it, Susiener didn't bother about it. "Hurry up and do the test paper." Lin Jingshu shook the 2 test papers in her hand. "I'll do it with you." "You do it first, I have something important to do now." Susiener pointed at the computer and said, "There is a group of funny people messing with me online. The battle is fierce now. Let's talk about the test paper later. You want me to finish it and then copy it?" Lin Jingshu saw through Susiener's thoughts at a glance, but seeing that she had no intention of getting up at all, she was very helpless. The teacher's method is not reliable at all. Jo Kinja asked her to live with Susiener, and then take Susiener to do homework every day, so that she could correct her. But this is obviously too simple, because Lin Jingshu can't control Susiener at all, so how can she correct her? "I don't care about you." Lin Jingshu climbed onto the bed, picked up the lazy table on the bedside table, and sat on the bed to start doing the test paper. Although she could go back to her room to do it, Lin Jingshu wanted to do it in Susiener's room. After all, it was lonely to do homework alone in her own home. Now that they were living together, Lin Jingshu would not be alone anymore. Even if Susiener did not come to do the test together, she felt safe knowing that she was in front of her. Finally, she was not alone. Thinking of this, Lin Jingshu immersed herself in the ocean of learning with a satisfied smile. This Miyobi is really rich. At this time, after 9 o'clock, Lin Swekin found that his Weibo had been occupied by the Water Army, who claimed to be a fan of Miyobi. Seeing this, Lin Swekin looked ugly. Although he knew that the other party would buy Water Army, he was still very upset by such rampant behavior. But gradually, Lin Swekin found that something was wrong. He found that the Weibo level of those who came to comment on his Weibo seemed to be generally very high. You should know that the level of Water Army is generally a newly registered account, and high-level Water Army accounts are generally professional, and it is impossible to squander them like this. I suddenly felt uneasy in my heart, but when I glanced at the comments, my pupils suddenly shrank. Teacher Chunny, I'm very disappointed. To be honest, after following Qingshan for so many years, I have gradually lost my previous passion. The plot is dragged out, there are countless water injections, and the quality has declined. Teacher Miyobi is just a newcomer, but he has created a different style of painting. Instead of learning from him, you regard him as a thorn in your side because he was on the Tencent animation sales list. Others have been sprayed by you since 0 o'clock, and you, a group of self-important orthodox cartoonists, have not let him go, forcing Teacher Miyobi to fight back. It's really disappointing, and I have turned from a fan to a hater since then. This is what a person nicknamed Qing Lian said. And this ID is very familiar to Lin Swecken. It is managed by a group of his fans, but today they have turned from fans to haters. Brother, put down your butcher knife and turn back. Teacher Miyobi just drove, it's not too late to get on now. I'm convinced, the die-hard fans turned against him. How unpopular is the spring mud protecting the flower? Qing Lian is right, the plot of Qingshan has been declining since half a year ago, and then this thing has not been completed, and it has been dragged on. Now I still follow the updates just because I have developed a habit, but after what happened today, I have no desire to follow it anymore. Lin Swecken's hand holding the mouse trembled, took a deep breath, gradually calmed down, and smiled coldly. This group of Water Army is really powerful. When Lin Swecken said this, he himself was a little bit unconvinced. But he couldn't believe it even more. Why can Miyobi gather millions of fans in just 7 or 8 hours, while he needs nearly 10 years to operate? And even if the other party has millions of followers, his followers are not bad, basically the same. The other party has fans, so doesn't he have any? Thinking of this, he opened the QQ group and asked for support in his fan groups, saying that he was attacked on Weibo and was a little powerless to resist, hoping that everyone could help. Lin Swecken still has some popularity. When he sent a message in the QQ group, everyone responded one after another. After all, those who can join the group are basically die-hard fans. Just when he was relieved, he found that one of his rich readers sent him a private message, not a message, but a few screenshots. After reading it, Lin Swecken suddenly despaired. Toxic, Kidian Pang Ci has blocked these 2 words, and can only be expressed as underpants in the future. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 23. The screenshot shows the content of another QQ group, and the name of this group is Miao by Teacher Protection Association. When Lin Swecken saw the content in the group, his heart sank. The person who spoke in the group was actually the fan who just responded to his call, and these fans have actually become fans of Miao Bai. So the response just now was just a smoke screen for him. How could this happen? Lin Swecken felt very bad and asked while typing tremblingly. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow diamondsuit. He asked this rich fan, and also asked himself, how could his fans turn so easily? What do you say, Teacher Chunny? Recently, the plot of Qingshan has been criticized, but when fans tag you in the group, you never show up, so everyone thinks you don't care about them at all. No, I have been peeking at the screen, but the plot of Qingshan has reached a bottleneck, and this problem has been bothering me. What's the use even if I come forward to explain? Teacher Chunny, are you lying to me? If you peeked at the screen, Don't you know that when the Suxian series appeared, the group was discussing this book enthusiastically? Basically, all the fans in the teachers group watched the Suxian series and then became fans of teacher Myobi. If you had watched it, you wouldn't have called on everyone to criticize teacher Myobi in the group tonight, because you would know that many of your fans are spraying you tonight. And before that, many fans tagged you and asked you why you were arguing with Myobi. To be honest, I never knew why you would lead Myobi's rhythm, and I really want to know the reason. The most embarrassing thing in the world is to be exposed in person for lying. Although it was online, Lin Swecken still felt his face burning. However, his heart went cold when he saw this sentence. As for the reason, Lin Swecken was silent. Did he mean that even if they, martial arts and fantasy cartoonists, learned the pure style of Myobi, they could not apply it to martial arts or fantasy comics? And if other comic artists imitated this style, they might be suppressed in sales. As an orthodox cartoonist, he would definitely not allow this to happen. An orthodox cartoonist could not even compare with comic artists in terms of income. What a joke. Mr. Liu, who drew the Saint, was my early teacher. When the Saint was squeezed out, we, a group of orthodox cartoonists, were a little angry and did some irrational things, Lin Swecken typed weakly. The reason for the explanation was that the other party had been his fan since his debut. The two had been in contact by letter since there was no QQ. It can be said that he was his die-hard fan, and he naturally could not let the other party down. Alas, Mr. Chunny, you should apologize as soon as possible. Now everyone is on Myobi's side. If it's too late and it's reported in the media, it won't do you any good. I will apologize. Opening Weibo and looking at various comments, Lin Swecken's face turned pale, but he couldn't type the words to apologize. After thinking it over, he simply turned off the Weibo comment function. Other orthodox cartoonists, after Lin Swecken, also turned off the Weibo comment function one after another. Obviously, they also encountered the same thing, and their faces were ugly. The top of Mount Tai group was unexpectedly quiet. In just 10 minutes, this farce-like battle in the comics circle ended like this, with a strong start but a weak end. However, the aftermath is not over. Although the comics circle is not as good as other entertainment circles, this is a battle on Weibo after all, although various things happen on the internet every day. But from midnight to now, almost more than 20 hours later, a large number of orthodox cartoonists who have been certified on Weibo came to lead the rhythm of a newcomer, which made them very curious. Life is boring, so when netizens learned about the incident, some people ate melons, some watched, and some people who didn't like it naturally participated. But the real beneficiary was Susienur. Many people who didn't like to read comics at all went to Tencent Comics to register an account because of this incident, and then they were shocked by it. No comparison, no harm. When other covers and even contents in the comics area were all muscle style, Susienur style stood out directly and attracted most people. And those who consumed it, with weak bodies, ran to the comics comment area and Myobi teachers Weibo to ask for coloring. Of course, now they are basically asking for the content of the second episode. Because Myobi teacher has said that the color comic version of Susien series will be online within a week. Is this a blessing in disguise? Zhao Jing was a little amused when he learned about the situation at this time. He has been thinking about how to expand the readers of the comics circle, but Myobi casually brought a wave of rhythm on Weibo, and actually did it. He just browsed the comments on Myobi's Weibo and found that there are many new readers who all praised the style of painting, and then said that they had been attracted even though they had never read comics before, and finally they were eager to ask for the second chapter. Some readers even hoped that Myobi teacher would use the style of painting to enter the orthodox comics industry. Although it was suppressed by many old drivers, Zhao Jing saw some signs. After this incident, if we want to promote it, we can only choose Myobi, Luoyang said helplessly. He and Zhao Jing had previously discussed that if Miyobi really didn't want to, they would not force it. Instead, according to editor Lin, they would find an orthodox cartoonist in Tencent Animation to imitate Miyobi's style of painting. But now that Miyobi has gone through this incident, his fan viscosity will be very high. In addition, he pioneered the painting style, and readers like this kind of creative cartoonist very much. And if someone suddenly imitates the other person's style of painting, fans of Miyobi will not say anything on the surface, but subconsciously they will look at it. If the cartoonist who imitates Miyobi's style has flaws in the plot, I am afraid many people will think that the other party is insulting teacher Miyobi's style of painting. This is what fans think, want to imitate the style. Yes, but it must be perfect. But, nothing is perfect in this world. Therefore, if they want to praise, they can only choose Miyobi. Now Miyobi has a great advantage, and now Weibo's attention is due to the rhythm of the whole day, so many people know about him, and the attention is still rising rapidly. It can be said that there is no need to praise him, Miyobi itself has become popular well. If the other party enters orthodox comics, the huge fan base will make him invincible. Luoyang stopped as he spoke because Zhao Jing's cell phone rang. After answering the call, Zhao Jing stood up suddenly a few seconds later. What? Is the wonderful pen a woman? Or a girl? Luoyang next to him was shocked when he heard this, and then murmured. She's invincible. Please vote for recommendation OVO. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 24. Tencent Comics and Yaokai are the two largest animation websites in China today. Both websites have conducted surveys before, that is, what is the ratio of male to female readers? Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow Diamond Suit. According to the survey, the ratio of male to female readers who like comics and animation is 445:1, which is an astonishing data. This means that there are very few women who like to watch animation, and basically it is boys who watch animation. The situation of cartoonists is even more astonishing. The survey shows that the total number of cartoonists in China is nearly 20,000, excluding comic assistants. Although it seems a lot, the bottom cartoonists account for the majority. The comics they draw are not popular, and it is very easy to abandon the pit, and it is easier to quit the industry. Therefore, if cartoonists want to make a name for themselves, there are only a small number of people coming and going. It can be said that the comic industry has been monopolized by this small group of people. In other words, except for this small group of people, basically the bottom cartoonists want to become famous. Unless they innovate and create a new style like Susienur, or the story is extremely novel, readers will turn their attention to them. Otherwise, people prefer to read comics by some well-known cartoonists, because they have been in the industry for a long time and the quality is guaranteed. This is why the comics industry has not been popular, and even the good and the bad are mixed. The rich get richer, and the poor get poorer, that's the reason. Newcomers can't get ahead, and are suppressed by the old people, so they naturally give up this industry. Except for those who like and love comics, most people have given up this industry, which is why Tencent Comics invites other animation websites to hold a newcomer competition. If there are no newcomers in an industry, it will be a stagnant pool of water. In the past few days, a newcomer named Miyobi suddenly rushed out and completely muddied the water in the comics industry that had been calm for many years. When Zhao Jing and Luoyang thought this was an opportunity to expand the comics circle, it suddenly broke out that Miyobi teacher was a woman, or a girl. If the ratio of male and female comic readers is extremely large, there are still a few female readers. But it is no exaggeration to say that the number of female cartoonists in the comics industry can be counted on one hand. Let's not talk about the distant past, let's talk about the master Zhang Xinran, who is a female cartoonist and a national cartoonist on par with Lu Qingyun. She can even be said to be the first female cartoonist in China. Because she is from the same generation as Lu Qingyun and is also one of the preachers of the Hong Kong comics industry, while the others' comics follow the romantic route, telling the tenderness of the chivalrous woman in the world of martial arts. But 5 years ago, Zhang Xinran announced that she would stop writing and never draw comics again. Everyone in the industry knows what's going on. Romantic comics are very much about the style of painting, but Zhang Xinran's style is no different from other cartoonists. It may be a little more exquisite, but it still can't break through the traditional style. This style of painting was okay in the past, but when readers' eyes gradually became more discerning, Zhang Xinran's fans began to lose. So Zhang Xinran saw this and directly announced that she would stop writing, because she knew that even if she continued to draw, it would ruin her pen name, so it would be better to stop writing. From then on, Zhang Xinran worked at Yu Yaokai, guiding newcomers whenever she had time, which could be considered as her dedication. As for continuing to draw comics, Zhang Xinran obviously no longer had this idea. And Zhang Xinran is the most famous female cartoonist in China. As for the others, they can only be considered middle level, and they draw Q version 4 frames. In the eyes of Zhao Jing and Lu Yang, they are not even cartoonists. So when they learned that Miaobi was a girl, they were so shocked. Even Lu Yang said that Miaobi was invincible. That's right, invincible. We picked up a treasure. Zhao Jing's tone was also a little trembling. In the past, he would feel a little sleepy at this time, but now the whole person was in excitement and had no desire to sleep at all. If there are still female cartoonists in the orthodox comics world, then there are definitely no female cartoonists in the book world. Miaobi is unique. Then you can imagine how crazy the fans and readers will be when they know that their favorite Miaobi teacher is a girl, or a girl. A book drawn by a girl. The contrast is so strong that it is unbelievable. There are very few girls who read comics. If you meet a girl who reads a book, you will feel like a giant panda. Now there is a girl who draws a book. The most important thing is that the book drawn by this girl is very beautiful and edible, and it is even better as a snack. This is rarer than a giant panda, so Lu Yang can imagine that Miaobi will definitely be protected by her fans like a giant panda. As long as someone dares to lead Miaobi's rhythm in the future, he will definitely be sprayed to the point of leaving nothing behind. If he thought that Miaobi's fans were very sticky just now, then now he thinks that as long as Miaobi is exposed as a girl, the defense of her fans will definitely form a copper wall. Maybe no one will be able to break through the defense line formed by Miaobi's fans in the future. However, Lu Yang suddenly realized that all this must be based on a big premise. Is Miaobi beautiful? Lu Yang's question is very direct and cruel. This is a world of appearance, this is an era of looking at faces. If Miaobi is ugly, then sorry, this may even become the opponent's fatal point. But as long as Miaobi has average looks, she doesn't need to be beautiful, just ordinary, and exposing it will also make her fans defend her fervently. I don't know, but Li Yuan just talked to Miaobi on the phone and said that the other party's voice was very nice. Zhao Jing also hesitated for a moment, feeling a little uneasy. I remember that when Miaobi sent the contract, he should have sent a copy of his ID card. Lu Yang suddenly thought of this question and complained, we can know this news ourselves, but we only know it now. Who do you think would pay attention to Miaobi's ID card copy except the reviewer who receives the express delivery? Everyone obviously assumed that Miaobi was a man, and the daily work of the contract reviewer is very boring. He is responsible for reviewing, but not for notifying the cartoonist whether he is a man or a woman. That's right. Lu Yang was speechless, then looked at the time. It's not too late, I should go back. You can inform this news tomorrow. I think Lin Ran will definitely not have any objections. I guess if he knew Miaobi was a girl, he would jump out to support her. Zhao Jing laughed, then changed the subject. Don't rush to leave, come with me to the company. Going to the company this late at night? Suddenly thinking of something, Lu Yang paused, looking at Zhao Jing with a smile. You are not. I can't sleep at all now. If I don't know what Miyobi looks like, I will probably suffer from insomnia. Zhao Jing didn't say anything, and directly pulled Lu Yang and said, "You also know what will happen if Miyobi's appearance is good." Lu Yang was silent. If Miyobi looks beautiful, then the comics industry will definitely be shaken. Beautiful girl comic book artist? Once this news comes out, it will probably attract a large number of young people who don't read comics. And what Zhao Jing's ambition is, Lu Yang naturally knows. I hope we won't be disappointed. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 25. What a pervert. Why am I so excited when I'm a woman? After hanging up Li Yuan's phone, Su Xian'er was speechless. After defeating Chunni Hua and the other scumbags at 9:10 just now, Su Xian'er sent a Weibo to thank her fans, and then stated that the color comic version of Su Xian series will be launched on Tencent Comics within a week. As for the second episode, it is also on the way. Of course, that's what she said. She will talk about the second episode when she is in a good mood. After all, when the battle just started, MiHoYo had already transferred the 3,000 yuan bonus to her via Alipay. With the money, he no longer has any financial pressure. After that, she looked at the QQ message and found that the avatar of the review editor was flashing all the time. Suddenly, she remembered that she seemed to have not replied to the other party's message for a long time. As a result, after she replied, the other party replied in seconds, and then eagerly asked for her phone number, saying that he had always wanted to contact her but couldn't get through because of the Do Not Disturb mode. Su Xian'er then realized that her mobile phone rejected calls from strangers. When the two talked, the review editor named Li Yuan was like taking drugs. The excitement and enthusiasm in his tone almost rushed through the phone, leaving her speechless. She remembered that in her previous life, there were many female comic book cartoonists in the island country. For example, Yuzuki N, who was very famous for drawing sister-brother comic books, was a sister who was a pathological brother control. After her brother got married, most of the subsequent comic books were NTR, and she didn't know when she could return to pure love, so she didn't think it was surprising that women drew comic books. However, what Su Xian'er didn't know was that there were very few female cartoonists in this world, let alone female comic book cartoonists. They were simply extinct animals. After sending the other party away, Su Xian'er joined a group. Miyobi Teacher Protection Association. After Su Xian'er posted on Weibo before, some people felt that this kind of battle must be organized and disciplined, so they set up a group, and after the battle was won, they directly invited Su Xian'er to join under the Weibo. Su Xian'er naturally did not refuse the fans' request, and she finally had a fan group. Wouldn't it be great to race in the group? The moment Su Xian'er entered the QQ group, the screen refreshed, and countless messages appeared like a waterfall, and then QQ reported an error. A black line appeared on her forehead. Su Xian'er didn't want to complain about QQ, but quickly logged into QQ, opened the QQ group, and finally saw the message. Where is Teacher Miyobi? Why is the avatar black when I come in? Puff, it seems to be offline. Damn, can you guys refresh the screen slower? My QQ just got stuck. I guess Teacher Miyobi was also stuck by you. I admit it. I rehearsed for 10 minutes and it's GG. What's the answer to Teacher Miyobi's friends? I want a friend position. Seeing the message refresh the screen quickly, but no longer like the data flow just now, Su Xian'er breathed a sigh of relief. Then she received a message that she became the group owner, and then a large group of private chats appeared in the lower right corner. Without paying attention to the private chat, Su Xian'er directly sent a funny expression in the group, and then said that she was just disconnected. As the number one expression in China, funny is an important means of making friends online, and a funny expression can make people closer. As soon as Su Xian'er appeared, everyone was obviously excited again. Various questions came out one after another, but the most important question was the content of the second episode. A few people were still thinking about the color comic version, and of course there were people who asked very tricky questions, asking if the second episode would be black and white comics again. Susiener directly raised her thumbs and said that the big brother guessed it right, which made the people in the group all kinds of grief. Miobi teacher, are you 17 years old now? Someone who obviously looked through Susiener's QQ information asked. I am in the third year of high school now, preparing for the college entrance examination, so I draw black and white comics. It is more troublesome to color comics, so I took the semi-finished products and posted them. Susiener blinked and talked nonsense. However, this amazed the fans in the group. They didn't expect that Miobi teacher was only 17 years old, but he brought everyone closer. After all, the group that reads the book is basically young people, and their age range is generally between high school students and college graduates, and Susiener's age makes them feel very identified. After chatting for a while, Susiener said that she had to go to class tomorrow and could not chat with everyone. The fans in the group expressed their understanding. After all, there was only about a year left before the college entrance examination in the third year of high school. Some even said that if there was not enough leisure time, they could postpone it for a few days. They were not in a hurry for the color comic version. After all, you can't delay Miobi teacher's study for reading the book. Dealing with fans is more painful than having no money. Susiener regretted joining the group in her heart, but now she has become the group owner, she can't quit the group. Looking at the time, it was almost 10 o'clock in the evening, and it was the time for a wild night. Just when she was about to start playing games, she suddenly remembered that Lin Jingshu was still in her room. Why was there no sound? Turning around, she found that Lin Jingshu had fallen asleep on her bed. The lazy table was still on the bed, and Lin Jingshu was already covered with a thin quilt, sleeping with her eyes closed. Her long hair was slightly messy, covering the side of her face, making her look even more quiet. One of her snow-white thighs was sandwiched between the quilt as she slept soundly on her side. Her pink pajamas were completely messy because of tossing, and her fair skin was dizzy under the light. Susiener stared at the cute and defenseless look, and then picked up the phone. With a click, she took a picture directly. I got the beautiful picture, Susiener snorted and laughed. If she dares to force me to go to school again, I will threaten her with this picture. But after looking at it, a picture doesn't seem to have much threat. Thinking of this, Susiener came to the bed and quietly took away the quilt, and then pulled the other person's clothes, which was more exposed. One picture after another was generated from the phone, but Susiener suddenly found that her mouth was dry. A defenseless beautiful girl just slept on her bed, and she took pictures here? This is worse than an animal. Why don't I go to bed early tonight? The idea came to her mind, and Susiener came to the computer expressionlessly, turned off the computer, and then gently got on the bed and turned off the lights. The darkness invaded, and Susiener moved slowly towards Lin Jingshu's body like a thief. Susiener has always hated the protagonists in harem comics who don't have the chance to have sex. This is simply standing in the toilet without taking a shit. So Susiener felt that since the opportunity was in front of her, she was now a girl and couldn't have a close relationship with the other party, but it was okay to have sex with him. Collecting materials, collecting materials. I'm collecting materials. Taking a deep breath, Susiener's heart was pounding as she looked at Lin Jingshu with her back to her. In his previous life, as a otaku, although he claimed to be bold, he had never had a girlfriend. Now, it's not that she hadn't touched her own, but although it wasn't as flat as a boy's, it was indeed incomparable to Lin Jingshu's touch, and in the previous transaction with the other party, Lin Jingshu didn't let her touch it, just watch. A few seconds later, Lin Jingshu suddenly turned around, then opened her eyes and looked at Susiener faintly. Student Su, what are you doing? Susienner, I have to be pulled out to ask for recommendation votes when I touch my breasts, so annoying. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 26. Lin Jingshu had just fallen asleep, so she wasn't sleeping very deeply, and she wasn't dead. Susienner's little hands were rubbing and kneading, sometimes pinching, so she could feel it naturally. Turning over, Lin Jingshu exhaled like orchids, her face was ruddy, and she looked at the other person faintly. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. I'm collecting materials. Although Susienner was startled, she always remembered that she was a girl now, so she thought it was okay for a girl to rub a girl's breasts, but she still felt a little guilty, so she bit the bullet and said, "Didn't I say before that it's needed for drawing comics? As a cartoonist, you have to keep your mind flexible at all times, and of course you have to go out to collect materials from time to time." Susienner looked at Lin Jingshu innocently, blinking her eyes, making herself look very pure and white. Going out, Lin Jingshu looked disgusted. She believed that if Susienner graduated and was no longer bound by her studies, she would not even step out of the room for a month. You should tell me if you want to collect materials. You are not allowed to be sneaky. I am not against it. Hey, you agree? Susienner looked surprised. She thought that this reason would not work, so she was thinking of another reason. Well, I like music more, so sometimes when I don't have any inspiration, I also like to surf the internet or go out to find inspiration. Drawing materials for comics should be similar to this, right? You can sing. Susienner was surprised. She and Lin Jingshu have known each other for a while, but she didn't know that she could sing. Of course. Lin Jingshu nodded gently. I've said it before, my parents moved around all the year round because of work and I don't have many friends, so I've liked music since I was a child, because I won't be lonely if I immerse myself in singing. Susienner saw Lin Jingshu reminiscing, and subconsciously rubbed her breasts. Seeing her glaring at him, she said embarrassedly, "You're too naughty, too naughty." "I'm going back to sleep." Lin Jingshu snorted and was about to get up. "Wait, I can't sleep now, so sing for me." "Are you a child?" After saying that, Lin Jingshu hesitated and whispered, "Then I'll finish singing. You have to sleep well, and go to class with me tomorrow morning." "No problem." "You agreed so quickly." Lin Jingshu looked at Susienner suspiciously, always feeling that the other party was lying to her. But since the other party agreed, Lin Jingshu did not break her promise, but pulled Susienner to her bedroom. Although she helped Lin Jingshu move today, Susienner obviously found the right opportunity to be lazy, so she didn't know what the other party's room looked like. However, she blinked as soon as she came in, a little stunned. Susienner's home is very big, nearly 200 square meters, and there is actually no difference between it and a small villa. So her bedroom is very big, and although Lin Jingshu's is the second bedroom, the space is not small. When Susienner entered the room, she saw a piano standing upright in the corner, which made her stunned. When was this piano moved in? Pointing at the piano, Susienner was incredible. She remembered that when she moved at noon, there was no such thing. "When you were lazy in the toilet." Lin Jingshu looked at Susienner with contempt. Hearing this, Susienner looked at the room without blushing. The whole room is clean and tidy, and the atmosphere in the room has a warm feeling, which is in sharp contrast with her previous room, but she will not have any shame. She came to Lin Jingshu's computer and looked at the equipment on the table with a surprised face. Condenser microphones, monitor headphones, tuners, sound card decks. "Jingshu, are you an internet celebrity?" "No, these are all equipment for singing and recording songs." Lin Jingshu rolled her eyes. "I'm a host in the music section of Bilibili." I usually record songs and upload them to Bilibili after finishing my homework. Lin Jingshu is not a high-profile person. She does this just to hope that her singing can be recognized. And since she can't make friends in reality, she hopes to find some friends to chat with online. However, since she met Susiener, and she was lazy during the college entrance examination, she didn't record a single song, which made her fans couldn't help but urge her to update. Still, professional Susiener's eyes sparkled as if she had just met him for the first time. Then the singing must be very nice. It's hard to say about other things, but I'm still a little confident in singing. Lin Jingshu didn't have the gentle, quiet, and modest feeling she used to have at this moment. Her pretty face was full of confidence. After all, she had been exposed to music since she was a child. Stop talking nonsense, let's start. Wait, I'll adjust it. Lin Jingshu sat in front of the computer after rolling her eyes at Susiener. After watching the other party tinkering for a few minutes, Lin Jingshu asked, "Okay, what song do you want to listen to?" "A nice one." "Then sing the song I'm most familiar with." As she said that, Lin Jingshu took a deep breath and then spoke softly, "If the sky grows old, if the earth sinks, the cherry blossoms will never wither." Susiener was not surprised when the pure Japanese accent appeared, because now Japanese songs are one of the three major language songs in the Chinese entertainment industry. During World War II, China threw countless nuclear bombs and directly flattened the island country. A country was destroyed, shocking the world. But the destruction of the island country does not mean that all the people of the island country died. The surviving islanders were incorporated into China. After 60 or 70 years, the islanders have already passed 2 or 3 generations, let go of hatred, and became the 57th ethnic group in China, the Hezu. To be honest, Susiener, who had just learned about this period of history, sighed that this world was really a fantasy, but she quickly accepted it. So she was not surprised that Lin Jingshu sang Japanese songs. In the modern entertainment industry, Japanese songs are basically on par with Chinese and Cantonese songs, and they occupy the throne of Chinese songs. The reason why Japanese songs can rise is that in the early days, the country promulgated relevant policies to promote Japanese songs in order to quickly achieve the integration of the Japanese and other ethnic groups. At that time, it can be said that the whole of China was eroded by Japanese songs. Later, the country saw that it was a bit too much and slowed down the pace. Until now, Japanese songs, Chinese songs and Cantonese songs have become one of the indispensable spiritual entertainments for the people of the country. There are many Chinese people who specialize in Japanese songs in the entertainment industry. The song that Lin Jingshu sang at this time was Sakura Never Withers, which is a very famous Japanese song and has extraordinary significance. This is Saori Asada's representative work and one of China's golden songs. The song depicts a doomsday scene, with cherry blossoms becoming the brightest color. After the doomsday, a new day begins. People look up at the blue sky and white clouds, and find that the cherry blossoms are still with them, revealing a sincere smile. The meaning of the song is very clear and inspiring, which is to let the people of the island country not live with hatred because the country is destroyed. Look to the future, continue to live, and the cherry blossoms will never wither, and life will be more exciting. This is also Lin Jingshu's favorite song. For more than 4 minutes, she was immersed in the song and was still reluctant to finish it after it ended. But when she saw Susiener clapping her hands, she asked with a expression, "Is it nice?" "It's nice." "Liar." Although Susiener clapped her hands, her lack of interest made her know that the song did not impress the other party. Ovo thanks a certain unscientific red and white for rewarding the helmsman. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 27. Susiener wanted to put on a charming expression, but she couldn't. She admitted that Lin Jingshu's voice was very good, soft and peaceful, and very suitable for the melody of this song, but there was a reason why she was not interested. After traveling through time, she had heard songs when she was surfing the internet, or in other words, the new world, and different songs made her feel another kind of novelty. Except for AK, the entertainment in this world is undoubtedly developing normally, which is basically the same as in the previous life, and the music industry is also the same. She listened to some recognized Chinese golden songs with relish, and sometimes she would keep repeating them. But Japanese songs made her have no interest at all. You know, as a otaku in the previous life, she was naturally very familiar with Japanese songs. After all, when watching anime, she would listen to the op and ed, and if she thought it was good, she would download it, and then she would be interested in Japanese songs, and then she would look for better songs. She didn't understand why she couldn't get interested before, but now she knows. China is good at lyrics, and the island country is good at music. The Chinese people's ability to write lyrics is absolutely refined to the extreme, because Chinese is profound and can express thousands of artistic conceptions with just a few words, but the creation of melody is relatively weak. What about Japanese? Every I has to be watashi wa, and every we has to be oli oriva. It is difficult for a Japanese lyric to express many things, so they rack their brains to make the melody more moving. It is recognized by the world that the island country is a country of melody. In the early days of the previous life, many Chinese and Cantonese songs borrowed the melodies of the island country's songs. And what about this world? The island country was destroyed, and many classic melodies disappeared before they appeared. Although the country has promoted Japanese songs, whether it is lyrics or tunes, they are all created by Chinese people. Although the people of the tribe also participated, the melody did not get Susiener's point at all. In her ears, the Japanese songs in this world are undoubtedly several levels lower than those in the previous life. She has been influenced by the extremely beautiful melody, so she is naturally not interested in the Japanese songs in this world. Japanese is difficult to express too many things, and the melody was not up to standard. Susiener said that it was better to listen to Chinese and Cantonese songs. I'll sing another song. Lin Jingxia gritted her teeth and said without waiting for Susiener to speak. Music has accompanied her growth. Although her popularity on Bilibili is not high, her fans all say that her singing is very nice and memorable. In addition, she has her own confidence in music, but Susiener frustrated her. Before Susiener spoke, Lin Jingxia spoke again. It was still a Japanese song. As soon as the melody and lyrics appeared, Susiener knew that this was another Japanese hit song, Summer, which she had just heard in the past 2 days. 5 minutes later, when Lin Jingxia finished singing, she looked at Susiener again and found that she was smiling pleasantly, but Lin Jingxia said stubbornly, "I'll sing another song." Obviously, Susiener's stiff expression made her know that her singing still could not make the other party agree. Lin Jingxia values Susiener very much as her only friend, so naturally she hopes that she can be praised by her friends for her confident points. After Lin Jingxia sang 5 or 6 songs in a row, Susiener finally showed a surprised expression and clapped vigorously. "This song is good, really." As a result, Lin Jingxia's eyes were red, and the grievance in her heart suddenly burst out, and tears flowed down involuntarily. What's wrong?" Susiener was stunned. "I just praised it, and you were moved to tears?" Susiener, you don't like Japanese songs at all. You didn't say it earlier and you're playing tricks on me." Lin Jingxia wiped her tears and said angrily. The last song that Susiener praised was a Chinese song, and it was also the only Chinese song she sang. But Lin Jingxia knew that she had sung so many songs, and her voice was not as moist as before, so there were some flaws when she sang. But Susiener said it was very nice and not as fake as before, but Lin Jingxia knew that her singing skills had not improved, so how could she be liked by the other party? The reason is very simple, that is, Susiener simply likes Chinese songs and is not interested in Japanese songs. Although such people are rare, they are not absent. This is why Lin Jingxia feels wronged. If she likes Chinese songs, just say it. It's not like she can't sing, but she never says it. So she feels that Susiener is playing tricks on her, and naturally sad, because this means that Susiener may not treat her as a friend. Although Susiener is lazy, her mind is clear. She instantly figured out Lin Jingshu's psychology and couldn't help but hold her for it. I didn't play tricks on you, it's just that the melody of Japanese songs is mediocre, so even if you sing well, I don't want to listen. Susiener said that she was innocently misunderstood. What melody is mediocre? I sing all golden songs. Lin Jingshu still had tears on her face, staring with eyes, very dissatisfied. In China, a song can be rated as a golden song if it meets two standards. First, it must be widely sung, well received, and have good sales. Second, it must be positive and inspiring. Most songs only meet the first point, so they are called pop songs and catchy songs. Maybe they are popular because of their strong rhythm, but they can't reach the standard of golden songs at all. This is a very strict test standard, and songs that can reach the title of golden songs are undoubtedly classics. But Susiener said it was not good. How could Lin Jingshu believe it? Seeing Lin Jingshu looking at her dissatisfied, Susiener knew that if she didn't explain it well, their friendship would not end here, but there would definitely be a gap in the future. After all, this was Lin Jingshu's belief since childhood, and she was criticized by her without any reason, so she was naturally angry. In order to continue touching her breasts in the future, Susiener was thinking about how to explain. Suddenly, she saw the piano in the corner and her eyes lit up. I really meant what I said just now, that Japanese songs are not good. Seeing Lin Jingshu looking at her disappointedly, she hurriedly said, "If you don't believe me, I'll sing a Japanese song for you. You can sing too." Susiener hummed, "I used to like music very much, but I gave up because something happened." She didn't lie. Like Lin Jingshu, she liked music since she was a child, but she gradually abandoned it after her parents got into trouble. Speaking of this, Susiener came to the piano and sat down. Seeing this, Lin Jingshu's eyes widened. She didn't expect that the other party could really sing. Although she didn't start, she was already sitting in front of the piano. If she couldn't play it, then their friendship might break out. After spending some time together, Susiener's living habits might be very bad, but Lin Jingshu knew that the other party had a good personality and would not lie to her about such things. Susiener first familiarized herself with the piano, then looked at Lin Jingshu and said softly, "I'm starting." Then, without waiting for Lin Jingshu to speak, she took a deep breath, and her slender white jade fingers gently stroked the piano keys. At this moment, Susiener no longer had the lazy look she had in the past, but was very holy. Perhaps it was because her previous life's love for music infected her, or perhaps it was because of her respect for the art of music. The extremely beautiful melody sounded, and as Susiener's fingers stroked it, it turned into notes that sank into the ears of the two. Only 5 seconds of the prelude made Lin Jingshu stare, looking at Susiener with round eyes, with surprise and shock flashing in her eyes. She had been involved in music for nearly 10 years, but she had never heard such a beautiful melody. It was so strange, there was only one possibility. Is this an original song? Lin Jingshu was startled, and at this time Susiener spoke, speaking pure Japanese. "Sakura Sakura, I want to see you, I want to see you now." Susiener stretched out her hand and said disdainfully, "How many recommendation votes do you have? Give them all out. You have to ask me to come out every day. Do you believe I can draw your book?" Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Sheng Wu. Chapter 28. The song Susiener played and sang was Sakura Sakura Wants to See You, which was adapted from Kenichi Takano's essay Karara by RSP in the previous life. The lyrics and melody are undoubtedly very moving, but there is controversy. Kenichi Takano's essay Karara describes the father's longing for his deceased daughter Sakura. However, this RSP adapted Sakura Sakura Wants to See You has two versions of meaning. One is that this song is RSP's response to the first song from the perspective of the daughter Sakura and encourages the father, but because of the MV, many people think that this is a song written by the deceased wife to the living husband, encouraging the husband to live strong. Of course, Susiena herself tends to the first perspective of the daughter writing to the father, because in this way the first song and the adapted second song can be regarded as a complete story connected. Kenichi Takano's subsequent Sakura Hirari also confirmed Susiena's idea. This song is Kenichi Takano's response to Sakura, as a father again, saying that he will definitely be strong. The series of 3 songs has sublimated the meaning of the songs in this series. What is rare is that all 3 songs are extremely beautiful and very nice to listen to. This is also the reason why Susiena chose the second song Sakura Sakura Wants to See You, because when she thought of Japanese songs, she thought of this one. In the previous life in China, this song was the most popular in China and was sought after. It was also recreated by Walter Ivan and written into Chinese lyrics as You Have Asked This Way, and finally covered by Zhou Shen, but after being adapted into Chinese, the meaning has changed. Compared with Sakura Sakura Wants to See You, Susiena prefers Kenichi Takano's first song, but this song is too sad and not suitable for playing and singing now. Her fingers are like flying butterflies, gently stroking the piano keys. The moving melody lingers in the entire space, making the room indulge in beautiful notes. As soon as Susiena opened her mouth, Lin Jingshu's eyes flashed with shock. Sakura, Sakura, I want to see you, I want to see you now. It's okay, don't cry anymore, I'm the wind, I'm around you. Sakura, Sakura, I want to see you, I want to see you now. Thank you, I always like you the most, I'm Chen Xing, I'll always watch you and protect you. The beautiful melody is beyond doubt, and Susiena's voice has a very natural rhythm transition because she has been learning music since she was a child. If the lyrics are translated into Chinese, the words are undoubtedly very simple and even shallow, which is the shortcoming of Japanese songs. But Susiena sings Japanese songs, not Chinese songs. The notes translated from Japanese from her cherry lips attract people's hearts and move gently. The piano melody and singing make Lin Jingshu indulge in it in a blink of an eye. After studying music for nearly 10 years, from a simple hobby to a means of entertainment to adjust her mood, Lin Jingshu loves music very much. But the deeper she understands, the more sophisticated her taste becomes. There is almost no song in the music industry that can impress her, and she usually covers some classic old songs, so she seems tepid on Bilibili. Today, Lin Jingshu found that Susiena, whom she had known for a few days, amazed her. The beginning of the song was like a magnet, firmly attracting her and making her sink. Most songs have a smooth beginning, a climax in the middle, and a transition to the end in 2 stages. This song is different. Before the song comes out, the prelude melody attracts her, not to mention Susiena's sudden opening, which makes her unable to extricate herself. This kind of song is really amazing because it attracts people only by the beginning, but it has high requirements for composition, because the beginning is the climax, but a song lasts 3-5 minutes. If the middle part cannot attract people, it will be a failure. Thinking like this, but as time passed, Susiena singing became popular, and Lin Jingshu no longer had the idea of nitpicking, and the whole person looked at Susiena sitting in front of the piano infatuatedly. I can't stay here anymore, I have to go, I'm really sorry. I have to go far away by myself, I have to go, ... Where to? Don't ask, why, don't ask, I'm really sorry. I can't be by your side anymore. It's so good to be alive, it's so good to meet you. This song, Lin Jingshu stared at Susiena blankly, as if she saw a different person. With soft eyes and gentle temperament, Susiena's little face was serious at this moment, immersed in the song. Lin Jingshu suddenly thought of what the head teacher had said to her before. The other party told her that Susiener's parents had died in a plane crash a few years ago. And just now Susiener also said that she gave up music because something happened. An idea suddenly emerged in her mind, which made Lin Jingshu's heart tremble. The song is moving and the words are simple, which means that the song is easy to understand. In addition, the singer's emotional investment makes Lin Jingshu know that this is a song with an inspiring meaning. However, deep in its simple lyrics, it reveals a kind of sadness. People who study music have an artistic heart, and so do arrangers. Every bit of life can inspire people with sensitive hearts. So many songs are mostly metaphors for people or scenes. There are many such songs, which have become a trend. And Lin Jingshu can naturally feel the sadness from the depths of the music from Susiener's mouth, but this is why she feels distressed for Susiener. Sakura Sakura, I want to see you, I want to see you now. Thank you, I have always liked you the most. I am a star, and I will always watch over you and protect you. It's great to know you, it's really, really great. It's really, really, really great. The song came to an end, and the voice gradually hummed along with the song. As Susiener finished her murmur, the sound of the piano slowly died down. After singing, Susiener breathed a sigh of relief. She was still very happy that her favorite song could be perfectly performed. Why, Susiener turned her head and was about to speak, but she was frightened by the tears in Lin Jingshu's eyes. Before she could ask a question, Lin Jingshu came over and hugged her, choking in a low voice, "Student Su, don't worry, I will accompany you well in the future. Don't be sad about your parents' affairs." The song is touching, but it is very difficult to make the listener cry, almost impossible. Unless the heart is fragile and the emotions are sensitive. Or it is the scene that makes people cry with the song. Of course, there is another way, that is to cooperate with the music MV, so that people can feel the emotions of the characters in the MV and cry under the emotion, but all of this is based on the context of a sad song. It is extremely difficult to make people cry just by playing and singing on the spot. This is already the highest praise for a song. There are very few people in the music circle who can reach this level, almost extinct. Susiener naturally didn't think that she could make Lin Jingshu cry with just one song, so she was still confused when she heard this, and suddenly realized it. Lin Jingshu obviously understood her situation and knew that her parents had a plane crash. And today she played and sang this song Sakura Sakura Wants to See You, although it is essentially a hidden sad song to encourage people, which made the other party think wrongly. Using objects to describe people, this form of composition and lyrics is very common in the music circle. Susiener thought well. Lin Jingshu thought that she compared herself to cherry blossoms, and this song was written from a third-party perspective about her parents longing for her, using this song to encourage herself not to be sad. This kind of self-reliance and self-motivational song creation made Lin Jingshu amazed and felt more distressed for Susiener. After thinking about this, Susiener sighed with a wooden expression that girls have many thoughts, and then patted Lin Jingshu on the back. "Don't cry." I don't want to cry either, but I can't stop crying." "Then you cry slowly, I'm going to sleep." "No, I want to listen again." After wiping her tears, Lin Jingshu pulled Susiener and didn't let her go. She looked at her with watery eyes and said, "Sing it again." The greasy voice made Susiener shudder. She didn't expect the other party to act like a spoiled child, but she didn't buy it. "No, I'm tired and I want to sleep." "Don't you want to take materials for your comics? If you sing to me again, you can do whatever you want in the future." "Really?" Susiener was shocked. "Of course. It's like this, the human body is very complex, so comics want to express it in many ways, and require many difficult poses. If you can let me pose for you in the future, I will sing." "I promise you." Lin Jingshu wiped her tears and looked at Susiener firmly, obviously not knowing that she would live in dire straits in the future. Hearing this, Susianer sat in front of the piano with excitement. Now Lin Jingsha chased her away, but she didn't leave. Isn't it just singing? For a better life in the future, what is this? Just like that, Lin Jingsha sold herself to Susianer for a song. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Sheng Wu. Chapter 29. Early in the morning, Lin Jingsha's room. The September sun was blazing, and as early as 5 o'clock, she was unwilling to be lonely and squeezed into the room through the gap in the curtains. At this time, on the Simmons bed, two delicate bodies were entangled. If a boy saw it, he would definitely be excited. Lin Jingsha lay on the bed on her side, holding Susiener's pajamas tightly with both hands, and her snow-white thighs were entangled with Susiener's legs. Her little head nestled in her arms, sleeping very comfortably. On the contrary, Susiener frowned, and looked unhappy in her sleep. It was obvious that she was a little breathless because Lin Jingsha tightly pulled the collar of her pajamas. The two people's postures were ambiguous, but pure as white flowers. At 6 o'clock, Lin Jingsha's mobile phone alarm rang. In less than 5 seconds, Lin Jingsha turned over, opened her eyes, and touched the mobile phone on the bedside. Then she rubbed her dry eyes and wanted to continue sleeping, but the good jet lag made her unable to sleep after getting up. Looking at Susiener beside her, Lin Jingsha shook Susiener with sleepy eyes. Get up, don't sleep anymore, you have to go to class today, you promised me. Please ask the teacher for leave for me. Susiener waved her hand, obviously not wanting to waste time going to class. Last night, she was almost like a looping jukebox. Lin Jingsha dragged her to sing for several hours, until 2 or 3 in the middle of the night. She was always very energetic at this time, but she was tired from singing and very sleepy, so she was too lazy to go back to her room and went to sleep here directly. Seeing this, Lin Jingsha took a deep breath, and then shouted loudly, Susiener, get up. While shouting, she shook the other person's body frantically. Susiener was startled and sat up directly. Lin Jingsha looked at the other person innocently. You asked me to call you like this. Yesterday, Lin Jingsha was afraid that she couldn't wake Susiener up, so she asked the other person how to wake her up effectively, and Susiener told her the method. Then, Susiener, who looked disgusted, was directly pulled up by Lin Jingsha to wash up. After Lin Jingsha finished washing up, she put on casual clothes and went out to buy breakfast. When I came back, I didn't see Susiener. I thought she went to sleep again. When I came to the room, I saw Susiener sitting in front of the computer, and I didn't know what she was doing. Don't play, class will start soon. Right away, I'll buy some clothes on Dobayo. What do you buy clothes for? Hearing this question, Susiener looked at Lin Jingsha with a very evil smile. Nothing. Lin Jingsha shuddered and had a bad premonition in her heart, but Susiener didn't say it, and she had no choice. After sorting everything out, Lin Jingsha took Susiener to class. Remember to accompany me to the recording studio after school this afternoon. You really have to go record a song. Of course, it would be a waste if such a beautiful and meaningful song is not recorded and listened to repeatedly. Lin Jingsha said excitedly on her pretty face, and you said yesterday that the accompaniment of the song is not all piano, so of course we have to record it well. Thinking of recording the full version of Sakura Sakura Wants to See You in the afternoon, she was excited. Seeing that the other party was in high spirits, Susiener suddenly said, Your body will belong to me in the future, don't forget it. No problem, tell me if you need to collect materials in the future. Lin Jingsha nodded happily, obviously not knowing what kind of life she would face in the future. Seeing this, Susiener looked happy. The class time of the day was very fast, she spent the morning sleeping and the afternoon playing games. It was not easy to hold on until the end of school. When the bell rang, she was going to take Lin Jingshu home, but at this time her mobile phone rang. Seeing the caller, it was Amy Yip. "Auntie." Susienner was shocked. It had been a while since she traveled through time, and Ye Yuking had not contacted her. Why did she call her now? She was a little uneasy about the person who was closest to her physically. After all, the two were very familiar with each other. If she revealed her changes, wouldn't it be a big deal? "Hello. Little fairy, I'm bankrupt." Lin Jingshu, who had just come to Susienner's side, saw that the other party's face suddenly turned black, and then she hung up the phone expressionlessly. "Who is it?" "A mentally retarded person." After that, Ye Yuking called again, with a humorous tone, sorry, I forgot that you don't like this beautiful name." Susienner has been a beauty since she was a child. People in her family hold her in their mouths for fear that she will melt, and hold her in their hands for fear that she will fall. In addition, she was well behaved and obedient since she was a child, just like a little fairy. So Ye Yuking started calling her since she was a child. When she was young, she was fine, and even happy to hear this name. But when she grew up, she had a sense of shame, and naturally didn't want to hear this Black History-like name again. "What's the matter with calling me?" Susienner snorted, her tone was dissatisfied. Ye Yuking stopped joking and said helplessly, "My company went bankrupt, so I want to ask you to use the house to borrow some money to repay the bank loan, and then pay the employees' wages." The two are the closest people in the world, and Ye Yuking did not hesitate, but directly said it. After listening, Susienner looked at the time on her phone. Today is September 11th. "I know today is not April Fool's Day." Ye Yuking reacted quickly and said helplessly, "It's really bankrupt." Then Ye Yuking told Susienner the matter, which made her speechless. The matter is actually very simple. As the owner of the company, Ye Yuking trusted his subordinates too much, and he took advantage of the situation and ran away with the money. However, it took her 3 days to find out. After calling the police, she found out that the other party had already fled abroad. "Are you a pig?" Susienner said with a dissatisfied look on her face. She knew from memory that her aunt had always been carefree. This was evident from the fact that she was broke and could still joke about calling her a name. But she didn't expect that she would have such a big problem of errors and omissions. "Little fairy, I was wrong. Please help my aunt. I will never open a company again. I will just look for a job honestly," Ye Yuking said eagerly. Of course, although she was begging like this, she knew that Susienner would definitely not leave her alone. "Are you the aunt or am I the aunt?" Susienner felt that their identities had been reversed, but thinking that her aunt had always been neglectful in the past, she accepted the sudden bankruptcy setting. "Tell me, how much is the difference?" "More than 2.5 million, I owe the bank 2.3 million, and the employee wages are more than 200,000, but the bank can delay the repayment for a few more months," Ye Yuking said timidly. 27 or 8 years old, the person looked like a little girl in a daze at this time. "I don't have an aunt like you. I think it's time for us to sever our relationship." Susienner vomited blood. Of course, even if she said this, she would not really let Ye Yuking go. Rubbing her forehead, Susienner thought for a while. The house her parents left her, where she lives now, is big, but its total value is only a little over 2 million. If she uses her house as a mortgage, she can get a loan of up to 80% from the bank. However, she is still a student and has no job or credit record, which means that the final loan the bank may give her may only be 50% or more. Low 40. The loan is 1 million, but there is still 1.5 million left. Where can I get it? Turn over water, Gan. Did something happen? Lin Jingshu stood aside and waited for Susienner obediently, looking at the troubled look on her face. This was the first time she had seen her. After all, Susiener's carefree and decadent demeanor was deeply rooted in people's hearts before, but now, it really made Lin Jingshu worried. Yes, Susiener responded, and then she saw Lin Jingshu's eyes light up. She suddenly remembered that she had published a book in Tencent Animation. The review editor said yesterday that her book was in Tencent Animation. #1 in sales. If a website ranks first in total sales, then the money earned will not be bad, let alone Tencent. Thinking about it, Susiener said into the phone, "Auntie, I will tell you again tonight, don't worry, I won't leave you alone." Yuking is probably very helpless now, so she can't speak rashly at the critical moment. "Little fairy, I can only rely on you." Hearing this title, Susiener rolled her eyes. I suddenly felt that severing the relationship was a good solution. Susiener fell weakly on the bed. "I'm bankrupt. I'm afraid I'm going to be arrested for dating. I'll give you some recommendation votes to comfort me." Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 30. After hanging up the phone, Susiener took Lin Jingshu to record the song. Originally, Lin Jingshu thought Susiener seemed to be worried, so she planned to take it slow, but now that Susiener took the initiative, she naturally didn't mind. Google searched "can." This means that this matter is not an important matter for Susiener, so she is relieved. This is true. If it was in the previous life, Susiener would be anxious. After all, more than 2.5 million is not a small amount. She is not a rich person, so how can she get so much money? But after traveling through time, Susiener is not anxious. After all, the book she drew has become the best-selling book. Although she doesn't know how much money she can get, it is the best-selling book of a website after all. Even if the ACK industry in this world is underdeveloped, and the comics industry is even worse, it won't be just a few thousand. So Susiener is not anxious when she thinks about this. She took Lin Jingshu to record the song together, just to make a final conclusion. She was afraid that the other party would resist after knowing the content she wanted to extract. Now, as long as the song is recorded, it will be difficult to refuse in the future. If she resists, Susiener will use socialist ideology and morality to educate her about morality, intelligence, physical fitness, aesthetics, and labor. It took more than an hour to record this, but she didn't expect that Lin Jingshu spent 1 or 2,000 yuan to rent the equipment without blinking an eye. It seems that she is a small rich woman. On the way home, Lin Jingshu wore headphones on one ear, squinted her eyes slightly, and looked enjoying. Obviously, Susiener played and sang very amazingly last night, but only professional equipment can fully express this song. And Susiener re-recorded it several times, and selected the version that Lin Jingshu was most satisfied with. Looking at Lin Jingshu's enjoyment, Susiener was also very happy. The more the other party likes it, the better, and it will be more difficult to refuse her request in the future. Back home, Lin Jingshu put on headphones to listen to music and cook. Obviously, if she didn't listen to it repeatedly until she vomited, she probably wouldn't take off her headphones for the next 2 days. And Susiener went back to her room, turned on the computer, and then directly logged into QQ and knocked on the review editor Li Yuan. "Mr. Miyobi, you finally contacted me." Li Yuan had already gotten off work, but as a single man without a girlfriend, he naturally went home to eat and sat in front of the computer, and when Susiener knocked on his phone, he would definitely reply immediately. Or rather, he had been waiting for Susiener to reply, because she had said before that she was a student and that she should not be called during the day, otherwise she would be permanently blocked without explanation. So no one called her during the whole day. "Mr. Miyobi, I have good news for you. The editor-in-chief and his team had a meeting today, and it seemed that they were discussing you. Your Susien series, The Delivery Girl, refreshed the list at midnight last night, and it was still #1. That's right, after the Weibo war in the comics industry last night, Susiener's fame reached a peak in a short period of time. Now her Weibo followers have reached 5 million, and are still increasing slowly, but Zhao Jing and others know that this should have reached a bottleneck. Although cartoonists and readers in the comics industry know about this book, not everyone will pay attention to teacher Miyobi. After all, Susienner is a book cartoonist. If someone finds out that she is following him, her impression of him will probably drop a lot in the hearts of girls. However, 5 million followers are already very impressive, which shows that Susienner's book has a very strong fan-gathering effect. So when Zhao Jing went to work this morning, he directly started the meeting and slapped a copy of Susienner's ID card on the table for everyone to see. It has to be said that Susienner's face can surpass all the beauties just by her bare face in this era of internet celebrities, PS, and makeup. And now everyone in the world knows that if the photo in Huaxia's ID card is good looking, then the person herself is definitely more beautiful. So when Zhao Jing slapped the table and passed the copy of Susienner down, saying that this is teacher Miyobi, more than a dozen editors in the meeting room were all stunned. A beautiful 17-year-old girl came to their website to draw a book, created a new style, and then ranked first in total sales for 2 consecutive days, which made the orthodox comics industry unable to raise their heads. They were stunned and speechless, not knowing what to say. Zhao Jing and Luo Yang had seen this copy last night. Yesterday, they actually talked all night in the company, all about this girl with the pen name Miyobi and real name Susienner. Zhao Jing even sighed that Susienner had all the potential to become popular, and she was not the kind of internet celebrity who suddenly appeared and then fell. It can be said that the other party's Susien series alone can make her popular on the internet. As long as the subsequent operation is proper, Susienner will definitely be able to gain a foothold in the comics industry and stand for decades. When the editors at the meeting saw the scene and Zhao Jing's explanation, the previously disdainful editor Lin, also known as Lin Ran, changed his previous words and supported Susienner, and even agreed with Zhao Jing's words to find a story script writer for the other party. However, Luo Yang ran out to spoil the mood. What if Miyobi refuses? This question made all the editors dumbfounded instantly. Then the whole meeting was about how to get this wonderful writer into the mainstream comics world and expand the readers of the comics circle with his pioneering style. Until now at 6 o'clock in the evening, many editors are still pondering this issue, and Lin Ran, who has always been straightforward, thinks it is better to ask Susienner directly. However, because of Susienner's opening, no one dared to contact the other party on the phone, and then only Li Yuan was added on QQ. As for other editors-in-chief and chief editors, they were all rejected. When they wanted to add them again, Susienner had already set questions, which made them laugh and cry. When Susienner saw Li Yuan's words, she asked directly, the total sales volume ranked first in 2 days. How much money did I make from this book? Ah, Li Yuan was dumbfounded. How should he answer this question? He was just a review editor. Naturally, he didn't know how much Susienner's royalties were. However, he was also smart and posted the QQ account of editor-in-chief Zhao Jing, and then said, this is the contact information of our editor-in-chief. You can add him and ask. I don't know about your manuscript fees, Mr. Miyobi, but I heard that the stable income of Saint from manuscript fees per day is about 50,000. I guess you don't know. Bad. With that said, Li Yuan called Zhao Jing and conveyed the problem. 50,000, Susienner blinked when he saw this paragraph, then added Zhao Jing without saying a word, and asked directly, how much will my royalties be for these 2 days? Seeing that Susienner didn't even say greetings and just asked directly, Zhao Jing sat in the study and smiled bitterly. However, he thought that the other party was still a 17-year-old girl, and she was in school, so it was normal for her to be ignorant of the world, so he said truthfully, Teacher Miyobi, your total royalties are more than 900,000 these 2 days, and the website must share half of it, so this month's royalties are more than 400,000 yuan. Of course, after deducting taxes, You have earned nearly 400,000 yuan in these 2 days alone. So much. 200,000 a day, then I won't have more than 4 million by the end of the month, Susiener said suspiciously. Something felt wrong. This was too far-fetched. Looking at this, Zhao Jing smiled slightly. According to my estimation, if you don't publish the second chapter of Susien series, the royalties you can get at the end of the month should be about 500,000. The subscription model for comics is that the first 5 manuscripts are free. You must subscribe later, and comics are different from novels. Novels can be serialized every day, but comics cannot. It's impossible for a cartoonist to serialize every day. After all, a chapter has 20 or 30 pages and needs to be colored. Many people serialize in this mode, 1 chapter every half a month or 2 chapters a month. In other words, once a reader has subscribed to your first episode, there is no need to subscribe again. So if a cartoonist has 2 episodes a month, the economic impact on the cartoonist is very low. Therefore, subscribing to comics is better than reading novels. It is much more expensive. This is to maintain the life of a professional cartoonist, and readers all understand. For example, the Saint can make a stable income of 50,000 yuan a day entirely because Lu Qingyun's studio can guarantee 1 episode a week. With 4 episodes in January, it can be called a model worker in the industry, and thanks to readers' rewards, it has always ranked first in the sales list. In the end, a freak like Susiener appeared. On the first day, he wiped out all the readers of Tencent Animation's books. On the second day, Weibo expanded the readership circle, and coupled with the issue of rewards, Saint crushed no scum left. At noon, Susiener's editor, Wei Qi, had already informed him of his subscription status. Now Susiener subscriptions have almost caught up with the Saint, which shocked Zhao Jing. Yesterday, he was still a few blocks away, but today he has almost caught up. Then can you advance my salary in advance? Or you can lend me some and I'll pay you back next month. You think I am an ant flower? The cover was changed by Kidian, and my Gabriel was brutally murdered by Kidian artists. I'm so angry. I changed it back. Gabriel will probably be back soon. I feel aggrieved.